Welcome everybody to our 6th marketing clinic, which is all about how to educate, entertain and engage with video. And today I am joined by Steph Neal, who's the Director of SNP Media. Welcome, Steph. At least I'm not the only one technically challenged. Steph, who's much younger than me, pretends that she's much more technically advanced than I am. And she even refers to herself as Sneelberg, as in Spielberg. She will somehow figure out how to unmute her recording and say hello to you all.
There we are. Can you hear me?
Well done, Steph. Welcome.
Thank you. So I'm doing dual screens here and it's sort of like trying to shift. Anyway, I think we're all good now.
Well, hopefully you're more professional at creating videos than you are at being the co-host of my Zoom meeting, my webinar. So welcome to you, Steph. It's great to have you here. Just as a bit of a background, we've worked with Steph for years and she has helped us create loads and loads of videos for clients. And one of the things that we like about Steph is that we spend the time to get everything right up front. And so from then on, it's really smooth sailing and we can get information back into the market pretty quickly. All right, what are we going to look at today? We're going to have a look at the channels where video works well. And we talked about some of those last week. We'll talk to you about the different types of videos that you consider as part of your content plan. Cost-effective ways to get your message out, because in the oldie daisy, video used to be really expensive and, you know, it was something that you liked to have, not necessarily needed, but now you really need it and there's a lot of cost-effective ways to get your message out. Steph's going to take us through planning a production shoot because sometimes it's really, if you want to get a lot of content and you plan it really well, it's much better to plan a whole production shoot. And then we'll give you some tips to getting started. Okay, so why use video in your content strategy? Well, if you look at things like landing pages, video certainly helps increase conversion rates. And they say by over 80%. And sometimes even if you send an EDM, the mere mention of the word email in the subject line can increase open rates by about 19 to 20%. 90% of customers say that they use video to help them make a decision. And so an example today was I got an email from a business financial services provider, and it was about using a credit card to make payment for any business expense and also accept credit card payment. And so I sort of clicked through and it was all integrated with your accounting software. In my case, I use Xero. And then they had some videos on it that showed you how to set it all up. And I just watched those explainer videos and it was all part of my trying to understand if this product was right for me. So it was really educational. There's loads of different types of videos: onboarding, knowledge-based videos, meet the team videos, support videos, customer stories. So you really need to be considering video as part of your content strategy. So why do I love video? Well, it tells a story visually. So not everybody likes to read a blog or look at a picture. Some people need to consume media by having a story told visually. It definitely dominates social media. It's really cost effective and it can increase your engagement and open rates and conversions. And you can also use it as a tool for your sales team throughout the entire customer journey. And I think sometimes in property, we forget that our sales team do need some help from marketers around with tools, and video is a really, really good one that you can get them involved in and they can use it in their part of their strategy to nurture customers. And also there's so many different types of videos. So videos don't necessarily have to be huge Steph Spielberg productions. They can be, you know, down and dirty, quick, get into the marketplace. So where can you use video? So Facebook, and Facebook Live. YouTube, we talked about that last week, and of course Vimeo. And for the person who asked us a question about Vimeo, we have a blog coming out for you in the next couple of days to answer that question for you. Instagram and IGTV. Pinterest, I didn't realise that Pinterest had video, but there's another platform for you. LinkedIn, of course, TikTok. You can use it in your e-newsletters, and as we just said, if you put it in the subject line that there is a video, you should get an increase in open rates. And of course on your website. And what we discussed last week around having video as part of your content strategy, it's really excellent also for your SEO strategy. So they say that you have a greater chance of coming up higher rating in Google if you've got video on your website as part of your content strategy. Okay, let's take a look at the different types of videos. And the reason why we're breaking it down like this is that just to give you some thought starters on, you know, what video footage could you use. So the first one is a demo video. So you could showcase how your product works. And you could, a demo video to me could be a virtual tour of a display home, or a demonstration on what you need to look for when choosing a block of land. The second one is your brand video. So most builders and developers will have a high level video that shows their vision and their products and their services. And you'd usually do that at the start of a project or a new retirement village or a new display home. Videos are great for events, not only showcasing the setup of it or using it for promotion, but after the event to create a highlight reel, because everybody who's come to the event is dying to see themselves on video. It's a bit like the first time anyone sees themselves on TV. People really like to see themselves on a screen somewhere. Expert interviews. So interviews for me are a really great way to build trust and authority. So if you've got someone within your business or you work with other people who are experts in the field, using video to demonstrate that expertise is a great way to go. Educational or how-to. If you've been listening into our webinars, you know that I talk about educate first, sell second. Any part of your business, you should be able to be creating educational videos, or how to choose a builder, how to choose the right block of land, how to get sustainability initiatives into your new home, how to choose the right colours for your kitchen. The opportunity for educational and how-to are endless. Explainer videos. So explainer videos is using a fictional journey of your core persona. So like, let's just say like a first home buyer. And so explain how they've overcome their issue by buying their product. So an explainer video with from persona to persona, you can really start to understand and empathize with what they're going through, and it can resonate with you. The next type is a case study, customer testimonials. Customer testimonials aren't that easy to get, but when you can get them, they can be in the marketplace for such a long time. They get huge viewings and they're really, really good for your engagement. Live video, so we've talked about live video maybe before as you're setting up for an event on the morning, or maybe one of your development managers standing out in the paddock, or one of your building supervisors showing how, you know, today we're pouring the concrete on our 500th, the slab. Today we're pouring the slab on our 500th home, or today we're at stage 34 and we're, you know, putting in the sewer for the 37 blocks that are here. So utilise live video if you've got some good talent. And you know what? Raw live video with people standing out in a field when there's a bit of wind gets great traction. 360 degrees and virtual reality videos, they are great for showcasing the vision that you have for your project. Augmented reality, I don't know a lot about AR, and we've talked a lot about it recently in our office. And for me, it's a really lovely to have. I'm not sure if I'd stick it number one on my marketing budget, but people who probably know more about it than me will be able to tell you differently. And then finally, the new one that we've all been using for the past sort of 7 years is drone. So drone really is fantastic to give you a bird's eye view of your project. All right, so let's move on to some cost-effective ways to get your message out. And Steph, you do this a lot with us. We create an intro and outro at the very beginning of our projects, or for each of the projects that we work with.
Yep, absolutely.
And it's a really great way, they're animated, and we don't have to do that bit every single time.
No, you just do one setup and then you're good to go, and then your production partner can just slot things in and it's all ready made. So yeah, it's an essential.
Yeah, it's an essential. And the outro can have your call to action. What do you want people to do at the end of your video? Do you want them to go to your website, visit you at your sales centre, get in touch, or get an offer, something like that? The second part is the other cost-effective ways that you can use existing imagery or video. So we use that a lot. And what the video professional can do is can zoom in and out on your imagery and give them different treatment to make them look like they are moving pictures. That's right, Steph, you do that a lot for us.
Yeah, and even repurpose like things that have been shot in the past. If there's anything in your production library or video library that is relevant, you can just repackage things and put some text or add some voice and some music, and it looks completely different to what it was. Yeah. So that's a really cost-effective way.
Yeah. The other one is adding captions or animated overlay to some existing video, just like you were talking about, or adding some music to some existing assets to make it look and sound and feel a bit different. And then we've got Facebook Live. So live streaming through your Facebook, and you've got the ability to customize and control the audience once it's ended. Page followers and visitors, they can get a notification when a page is going live. I seem to get a few of those. I got one the other day from I don't know, it was like some celebrity, and I thought, well, I don't know why I'd want to watch them live, but anyway, I'm sure if I was on Facebook Live, everybody would be tuning in. It's also a great way to answer questions in real time. So if you're working on a project that, I don't know, that has got lots of questions about when's the bridge going to be finished, or when's the railway line coming, when's the school coming, things like that, Facebook Live is a really good opportunity to do that. And you can also broadcast events that prospects or purchasers were unable to attend, and you can share an update that way. Right, Steph, so this is your area of expertise, is around planning a production shoot. And we wanted to include this today because property marketers have to be experts in a whole different lot of ways. So, we have to be great event organisers, we have to be social media specialists, we have to be able to write content, we have to be able to, get all these video assets. And sometimes we forget that planning a production shoot and working with a professional is really probably one of the most cost-effective things that we could do. So why should we engage a producer?
So basically the most important part is you will get exactly what you want. So the job of the producer is to really make sure that all your needs and wants are met. And the video is exactly how you want it to look. It's got the right messaging, and it's everything that your customers need to hear what your brand has to say. They also have the industry know-how to get the best results for your budget. and they should have good contacts and connections to get you a really good price and a deal. And most importantly, like you just touched on, Judy, was it saves you guys the time and your resources, so you don't have to do this. So your time is better spent doing what you're really good at and what's really important to you. We coordinate the video crew and we ensure all OH&S requirements are met. And we just do the end-to-end, so from the start to the finished. And it just takes the stress away from my clients. We know how to brief the crew. We know how to let them know what the expectations are, what they have to deliver. And we can also do little things like get permits and permissions to film, and even do traffic management, organise that if it's necessary. It's not always necessary. We source and liaise with talent and crew, and we direct the talent and crew on the day. This is probably the most important part. It means that you guys or the client can actually just sit and listen and watch and make sure that you're happy with the content and what's getting recorded. And then the producer is there and they know how it's all going to work in the post-production. So they just make sure everything that's shot, when we get into post, it's going to all come together, and there's not going to be any issues or anything, and the video is going to work and it's going to look good. A good producer, I would say, is very inclusive with their client as much as they want to. For example, Judy doesn't like to get too involved. She likes to sit back, which is fine. She's very hands-off. But other clients, they like to see and know how things are going to look. And I think that's a great thing, because then when that final product is delivered, there's no surprises. They know sort of what they're going to get, and there's no like, oh, moments. They make the shoot day run as efficiently as possible. So we do all the worrying about lighting and sun and audio and aeroplanes flying overhead. We know sort of like what's going to happen, I don't know, in the environment, which sort of affects filming. So there's not too many like start and stop times. We make sure all the talent and location availabilities are all running to time. And we allow things like setup times, which is kind of boring. So there's the pack up and the pack down and all that kind of thing that you have to allow for. And then we schedule everything. So there's very little waiting around, and you can shoot as much content as you can in the time that you have. And we organise things like the call sheet and the production schedule to make sure everything does run on time. So everyone knows where they need to be and when. And then we manage the post-production process. This is kind of self-explanatory, but it just means that we know what part of the production happens when, and we have the foresight to know what needs to come when in terms of the post-production process. So there's no toing and froing and wasting money and time doing things in a different sequence if it's not necessary. So things like that, you don't have to worry about, because your producer should be all over it and have everything scheduled and timelined to run as efficiently as possible. And probably the other most important part, it's the end product is what you are expecting. So there's no surprises. And if the producer have done their due diligence, everything should be well within check, and that video should be on point. And those communication messages to your customers are exactly what you want. And if not, better than what you're expecting.
Yeah, and that's a real cost saving, because you're not going back and forth with edits, and you're not having to, I remember times when you had to spend hours looking through film for different things. And then, you know, working with a producer, I didn't have to worry about any of that. And I am hands off, and it's only because probably I'm an exceptional briefer, ergo I was hands off, or I only work with the best. Let's move on, shall we, before we get in a tit for tat over the webinar. We are very good friends, so we are able to carry on like this. Sorry to our webinars for being involved in our sense of humour. All right. What are some of the tips for planning a production shoot, Steph?
So choose a production partner that's nimble and agile. So this is especially important in this time as well, especially with the whole ISO situation. You know, a lot of companies can't go out and film. So you've got to have someone who can adapt and expand and contract with your business. You just don't want to get pigeonholed, I would say, with a production partner that can only deliver in one way. So they can only either do high end or low budget. You need someone who can actually really deliver on quite a few different platforms. For example, you know, we're all in ISO at the moment. So some of my bigger clients, we can't go and film, but they still have to get video content out. So we've been able to set up people with their own little studio at home, and they can just send the stuff straight to me. And they're also trying to like think outside the square. So they're getting a lot of their customers to send in videos and things like that. And we've just been able to adapt. We make it look as best we can, but it still works, and it still shows the authenticity of the brand and the key messaging. So yeah, like I said, you just don't want to get like stuck or pigeonholed with one style.
Yeah.
The other tip, your creative agency is not necessarily the best person to use. Not all the time. Creative agencies are really great if you need a really creative concept. They do charge a hefty fee for the idea and the production cost. If you do go with an agency, I would suggest shop around a little bit and even consider giving the production work to your production partner, and still just use the creative agency for their creative skills.
Yeah, that's the reason I put it in there, is that quite often the creative agency, they'll want to add, oh, we do video too, and they're essentially just putting it out to a third party and charging a margin.
Yeah, like me, they will just send it straight to me, and then they charge you, put a cost on top.
Yeah.
And if you do go with your creative agency with a production, hold them to account would be my other advice with that. Just because for a simple shoot, ask them why get them to explain the quote and the cost, because they might be putting things in that just don't need to be in there. Like if you're doing a very simple shoot and there's a director of photography or a DOP, I would be questioning that. And also, if you've got an idea in mind, then it's often worth sitting down with a production partner, as the producer has creative experiences and they'll be able to either expand on your idea or come up with a few themselves. And they can also do a lot of the pre-production work, so storyboards, scripting, even things like wardrobe, set design. So you're sort of taking a lot of the cost out of it if you just go straight with your production partner, especially if you already really know what you want. Yeah. And then you can always go back to your creative agency if you're not happy. So
yeah.
So 3, share your brand guidelines and also brand image and budget up front. So probably the brand image one is kind of important, because if you're quite a conservative brand, there's no point getting a creative person to come up with these wild and wacky ideas if it's just not on point. So that's fairly important. The brand guidelines is important as well. It's good to have them just on hand. And so,
just on that point, if anybody wants to see some videos that Steph's worked on that really go on point to the brand guidelines, the Lifestyle Communities have some great little ones that Mon, when she was at Property Republic, hi Mon, how are you? And Steph worked on, that were really, really cute, about the little dog with the ball and things like that. Okay, choose someone with a large network.
Yeah, this is probably really important, because they have the resources to get things done as cost effectively as possible without sacrificing your quality. So they just know people. So it's a really, really strong quality to have. And that's often acquired by someone who's been in the industry for a long time. Yeah.
And you want the team to be creative and cost effective as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then if video is part of your content strategy, it is good to share that information with your production partner, just because they know what the big picture is, then when you're planning your filming day, they can go, oh, well, while we're here, we can shoot this that you can use down the track for something else. So they'll be able to maximize your filming day and get as much content as they can. So that's a really good one.
Yeah.
And make a video about making a video.
Well, it was just an idea about, you know, if you're out there making a video, take some video footage saying, hey, we're out here making a video.
Yeah, and, you know, put it on your social.
Yeah.
It's great.
All right. Let's talk about briefing. So as I said before, you know, obviously I'm an exceptional briefer, but being a clear briefer really helps you get the best result, I think.
Yeah, and look, don't panic if you're not. Just ask your producer to send a template, because I've got a template, a briefing template, or ask exactly what they need to move forward. So, but yeah, the more clearer you are about your concept and what you want to get out of the production or the video shoot or the videos, that's probably the most important.
Yeah.
And providing solution-based feedback.
Yeah.
Always up for feedback. It's just really helpful when it's given in a way that's exactly or close to what you want. And video is kind of tricky because it's such a creative medium. There's so many ways to create a video. And if you gave one brief to 10 producers, you'd probably get 10 different videos back.
Yeah.
But if the feedback process is more along the lines of, look, I don't like that shot or the shot of the cat, can you replace it with the shot of the dog? Then that's a really helpful, cost-effective, efficient way to provide feedback.
And I think sometimes, sorry to interrupt, I just think sometimes if you've been really clear about your brief and you've worked closely with your production partner on your shooting day and they've got everything that, you know, it's been on your list, when it comes to providing a solution, there shouldn't be any surprises. When it comes to providing feedback, there really shouldn't be any surprises then.
No, and there shouldn't be any big like changes either. Like it should be, can you replace these shots? It shouldn't be, or can you change the music?
Yeah.
Like it shouldn't be anything like, this looks terrible.
And make sure your partner's got all the necessary assets that they need to do their job. Right, we're going to move along because we're getting towards 12:30. Let's talk about what are the easy ways to get started.
Okay. We've sort of talked about this at the beginning, repurposing existing content. So that's basically getting a video in your library and then repackaging it so it looks differently. Yeah. It's a great way to test the water, and it's a great way to see how your audience is going to engage in a topic. You can use some still images with ready-made intro and outro. Property Republic are amazing at this. There'll be an event, they'll send me the images that night, and within like 12 to 24 hours, there's a video of that event in the market. Explaining a process with images, caption and music. It's the same sort of thing, add some graphics, a few animations, and you know, you can really make something kind of dull really interesting. And plan a series of Q&A. So this is like a interview style format that you see everywhere, and you see it everywhere. It's really common because it works really well. Yeah. And that can be like a sales piece, or that can be an informative piece. Yeah.
And the last one was Zoom, and I put Zoom on here because I really talk the great talk about video, but I personally do not like having a video camera set in my face and I have to try and perform. But I'm okay in this Zoom situation. Like I don't know who I'm talking to, but I'm really okay in this. So what we've decided to do is to use Zoom as part of you know, our chat series of videos. So we're going to take all these webinars and we'll get an intro and outro done. Steph will do that for us, and we'll package them up and we can use them. But also for other videos of other things, I'm going to do it all through Zoom because I feel much more comfortable staring at a little green dot on my computer than having someone at the other end of a video camera who's usually probably laughing at me. I think they're laughing, but they're not really. They're just in awe. Okay, let's talk about the final word for this week. So the final word is video must be a part of your content plan. And this is my personal thing. If you've got time to use a video package like Animoto or, I don't know, some sort of Adobe something or other, you must have already hit your sales target for the year. I don't think it is a great use of a marketer's time to try to learn to be a video specialist. If that's an interest of yours and you want to do it on the weekend, giddy up. But if not, outsource it. We've also put together a special offer with SMP Media about doing some 15, 30 and 60-second videos for you. The link to that is in the email that you will receive following the webinar. And also in it, we've previously done the Power of Video for Your Brand download, where a lot of this information has come from. We've also put a link to that in your email that you will receive today. We'd also love to receive your feedback, so there is a survey on that email. And next week, before I say goodbye, thank you for joining me, Steph. Next week, we're going to be looking at effective low budget marketing tactics. Steph Neal from SMP Media, thanks so much for joining us on today's webinar. Have a great week, everybody, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
Thanks so much, Judy. Thanks everyone for your time.
Bye.